Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening, everyone. A Tasmanian pensioner has been forced to endure uncomfortable symptoms while waiting for an urgent health procedure. Janine Miller has only just secured an endoscopy appointment 3 months later than the recommended time frame.
At 74 years old, it was a breast cancer diagnosis that pushed Janine Miller to try and speed up her colonoscopy.
Because once you know you've got cancer somewhere and you have symptoms somewhere, you start thinking, maybe I have it there too.
After nearly 90 days of living with symptoms, the aged pensioner finally has an appointment in the public system. That's despite initially being placed on the urgent Category 1 procedure list.
I rang up recently and was told that Category 1, 30 days, is now 4 to 6 months.
The state opposition says Janine's circumstances demonstrate the plight of Tasmanian healthcare.
There are tens of thousands of Tasmanians on the outpatient wait list waiting to find out if they need surgery or waiting for important and potentially life-saving procedures.
The state's health union describes the thousands of Tasmanians on public hospital waiting lists as silent sufferers and says a lack of investment in staffing isn't helping the situation.
The government really does need to consider the fact that just simply building things doesn't necessarily mean that they will work. We know that staffing is the major problem here.
It was only back in January when the government unveiled its refurbished endoscopy facilities inside the Royal Hobart Hospital.
We've been continually ramping up our efforts. It's under significant demand, and the good news is that next month's budget will provide funding for a further 22,000 endoscopies.
While Janine's situation is somewhat resolved, she remains deeply concerned for others in the same position.
How many other people who may even have more severe symptoms than me, I don't know, but how long will they be waiting?
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
A blaze has destroyed a Ravenswood home overnight, with neighbours describing the sound of explosions as flames took hold. Authorities have deemed the fire as deliberately lit, with an investigation underway.
Combing through a charcoal mess.
Yeah, there was a couple of explosions and then looked out the window and the house was just like engulfed in flames. It was like a cylinder or something blowing, hot water cylinder maybe, and glass smashing.
The house overtaken by flames in minutes. Tasmania Fire Service arriving to the Ravenswood property soon after.
About 10:15 last night, crews got called to this address. Crews from Ravenswood, Launceston and Rachel Lee attended. Crews
immediately got to work, but it was too late.
It was already, after the first explosion, it was up, well and truly up.
The house was fully involved on arrival. It was a vacant property. The search concluded there was no one inside. Initial investigations not ruling out suspicious circumstances into the blaze's cause. It's hard to say at this stage, but the fact there was no furniture within the house and it had been recently vacated suggests that's the avenue we'll be going down. The house will most likely have to be demolished, which neighbours say is not ideal in the current housing climate.
Lots of people looking for houses at the moment.
Yeah, not wrong, especially up here, It's like, yeah, they could do as many as they can get.
Talia Jordan, 7 Tasmania News.
The state government has slapped down claims its members only attended 3 out of the last 10 data and digital ministers' meetings. Labor is behind the concerns following a recent data breach in the state. It's accused previous Technology Minister Michael Ferguson of misleading the public.
The Minister has stated that he has had a strong attendance at these digital ministers' meetings. In fact, he hasn't. Records do show that he has only attended 2 out of 8 of these very important meetings.
We have attended every single one of those meetings, either the Minister or the Chief Information Officer. Tasmania has been represented at every single one of those meetings.
Jen Butler has also called out current Minister Madeleine Ogilvie for not being part of the most recent February gathering of leaders from across the nation. Roadworks will soon begin on new overtaking lanes at the northern end of the Tasman Highway. The state government will build 2 sections in 2 stages as part of the first step of a $4 million package for Dorset roads.
Between Scottsdale and St Helens, there are no overtaking lanes, none at all. It's a long road and at times it can be very busy. And with freight being one of the dominant uses for the Tasman Highway between those communities, it is important that we do find more opportunities for overtaking.
For brief periods, it might just be down to one lane. Majority of the work should be off the road. There will be a reduced speed limit just due to our clearances with the road, but other than that, after hours there should be minimal impact.
Construction is expected to start at the end of April and be finished by next March. Works on the Kingborough Child and Family Learning Centre is set to begin soon, with Tasmanian company Voss Construction awarded the contract. The new location is part of 6 facilities being delivered across the state to keep up with growing demand. Co-located on the Kingston primary school site, it's hoped to provide a smooth transition into primary school for local families. Thousands of local Lego enthusiasts have spent their weekend sharing their creations with the public, and Brixhibition's bumper return to Launceston didn't disappoint.
Hundreds of people lined up for blocks.
Because it looks so cool.
Brixhibition back and taking over Launceston for a 10th year. 28 exhibitors lost in plastic, filling 150 tables with Lego.
I've lost count how many hours. So many hours.
The Great Ball contraption attracting lots of attention.
There's lots of moving parts in it and I like it.
The marble run made from Lego a team effort with about a dozen builders contributing.
One module could take, like 3 hours and another module could take 10 to 20. And it was the first time yesterday putting things together, making sure they all worked and a lot of teething. And now it's sort of running a little bit better.
While some had trouble finding a favourite,
I like all of them really.
The dinosaur world among the exhibits taking the attention of others.
The dinosaur world.
It's pretty big, isn't it?
My favourites are the Marvel and DC stuff there because I like Marvel. My grave digger.
The grave digger. With Lego for as far as the eye could see, everyone had a standout, including a Lego Launceston City, back on display for the first time in 9 years.
The Civic Square's all been remodelled, so I had to remodel my Civic Square as well.
The annual event is a fundraiser with this year's totals to be donated back to school and community Lego groups. The exhibition will move to Ulverston before landing in Hobart in October. Talia Jordan, 7 Tasmania News.
And the Launceston Horticultural Society might have hosted its smallest event today, but the autumn show still packed a punch. The event, not only a competition, but a chance to display nature's best. Everything from flowers to bonsais to fresh produce was on display. And despite the weather, organisers were impressed with the crowd and the people it attracted.
What's been lovely is we've seen some young people who are starting off in gardening and asking lots of questions and being inspired, which is really what we're all about.
The show will return next season. It was mixed results for Tasmania's NBL 1 South teams on the road as round 2 comes to an end. Both the Chargers and the Thunder men's teams secured victories in their second matches of the round.
Round 2 for the Hobart Chargers men started on the road against Dandenong. It was a rough opening to the match with early turnovers and missed opportunities. Devon Watson leading the team with 38 points.
Deep 2 here for Devon Watson, up to 17 points now he is.
But it wasn't meant to be, the Chargers falling to the Rangers 107 to 84. The women's team also falling to the Rangers 79 to 65. The Ringwood Hawks were next for both Chargers teams, the men's matching their opposition blow to blow in a close match, winning 108 to 99. While in the women's, a late fourth quarter surge wasn't enough to fly over the Hawks. The Launceston Tornadoes had a close match to start their second round against the Eltham Wildcats. Keely Froling scoring 32 points in the game in their 84 to 77 loss. The Northwest Thunder had the same fate against the Wildcats, losing 98 to 72. Both teams facing the Braves for their second game of the round today. And it was another tough battle for Froling's Tawns, losing 105 points to 80. While for the Northwest Thunder, they scraped away with a 99 to 95 victory off the back of Trey Armstrong's efforts. Mark Zita, 7 Tasmania News.
Good evening. 20 was the state's top today in Devonport, 18 in Burnie, Launceston 17, Hobart reaching 14 degrees, 17 across Flinders Island and Strawn, Grove 14 and 18 in Smithton. A thick cloud band is seen moving away to the east of Tasmania with spotty low-level cloud developing. Further out, cooler cloud is being directed onto the southern parts of the country with clear skies elsewhere. A weak trough is crossing Tasmania tomorrow with showers about the west and morning fog in the northeast. West to northwesterly winds tomorrow, 15 to 25 knots, swells up to 3 metres in the west and south and up to 1 metre in the north. A strong wind warning is current for Flinders Island, the south-east coast and south-west coast. Tomorrow's forecast now: Hobart, mostly sunny, a shower or two across Dover and Ouse. In the north, Launceston 20 and a possible shower, a shower or two about Devonport and Scottsdale. Burnie and Strawn tomorrow, showers, 20 in Stanley with showers easing. Partly cloudy in St Helens, Swansea mostly sunny and 19 in Ross. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now: Tuesday, showers about the north and west extending statewide in the evening. Wednesday, showers mostly in the west. And Thursday, showers about the west and far south extending statewide from late morning. Capital cities, 24 and a shower or two in Perth tomorrow. Cloud clearing in Canberra and 33 in Darwin. And currently Hobart 11 and mostly clear, Launceston 12 and Devonport 13 and clear. And that wraps up Sunday night's weather, Lou.
And that's all your news for this Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Have a lovely evening. Good night.